This is Emergency Broadcast Protocol LCP-002, issued by the NORAD Emergency Coordination Center. I'm Dr. Brock Colby, and I need you to listen very carefully. The situation has escalated significantly since our last transmission 12 hours ago. If you missed our previous broadcast, we are currently tracking what we initially classified as unusual lunar phenomena. What I'm about to tell you may sound impossible, but I need you to understand that every word of this broadcast has been verified through multiple independent sources across 6 continents. At approximately 11:47 p.m. Eastern Standard Time last night, the second moon became visible to the naked eye from every location on Earth simultaneously. This should be astronomically impossible. Our orbital mechanics teams have run the calculations 14 times. There is no natural explanation for what millions of people are now witnessing in the night sky. The reports started coming in around midnight. Emergency dispatch centers from Nome, Alaska to Auckland, New Zealand began receiving calls about a second lunar body appearing alongside our familiar moon. Initially, operators assumed these were prank calls or mass hysteria events. That assumption changed when our own lunar observation stations confirmed the visual contact. A family in suburban Detroit called 911 at 12:23 a.m., reporting that their 8-year-old daughter had been standing in their backyard for over an hour, staring at the sky. The mother, Janet Kowalski, told the dispatcher that her daughter wouldn't respond to her voice and seemed to be smiling. When officers arrived, they found the child standing perfectly still on their back patio, arms at her sides, face tilted upward. Officer Martinez later described the child's expression as peaceful but wrong, somehow, like she was listening to something we couldn't hear. When they finally managed to guide the girl inside, she spoke only once. She said, "The new moon is saying hello." The family has requested protective custody and is currently in an undisclosed location. Similar incidents were reported across the continental United States throughout the night. A college student in Portland, Oregon was found by roommates standing on the roof of their dormitory at 1:15 a.m. Security camera footage shows him climbing out his third-story window with no apparent difficulty, despite having no rock climbing or athletic background. When questioned, he claimed he needed to get closer to hear what they were saying. But the reports weren't limited to isolated incidents. At 2:30 a.m., the emergency coordinator for Harris County, Texas, contacted our facility directly. She reported that over 400 calls had been logged in the previous hour, all describing similar behavior patterns. People of all ages were being found outside their homes, standing motionless under the night sky, many of them smiling. Dr. Jun Chen from our Astronomical Analysis Division attempted to brief me on the technical impossibilities we're observing, but frankly, her explanations have broken down entirely. What she could tell me is this. The second moon appears to be maintaining a perfect synchronized orbit with our original moon. It's the same size, the same apparent distance, and it's displaying the same phase cycle. In her words, it's like looking at a mirror, except the reflection is somehow more real than the original. More disturbing is what our infrared analysis revealed. The second moon is radiating a thermal signature. Our moon is cold, dead rock reflecting sunlight. This new lunar body appears to be generating its own energy source. Around 3:45 a.m., we lost contact with our primary lunar observation station in Arizona. The last transmission we received was from Dr. Williams, the lead observer. His final message was simple. "Both moons are looking at me now. I need to go outside and show them I'm friendly." The facility's automated systems show no signs of malfunction. The building's security cameras recorded Dr. Williams walking calmly to the exit and standing in the parking lot until dawn. As of 6 a.m. this morning, we've documented over 12,000 similar incidents across North America alone. International communications are reporting comparable numbers worldwide. The pattern is consistent. Prolonged exposure to viewing both moons simultaneously appears to induce a compulsive behavioral response. We've identified what appears to be a staged progression. Stage 1 involves an initial period of fascination. Affected individuals report feeling drawn to observe the night sky. They describe the experience as comforting, like reconnecting with an old friend. This phase typically lasts between 15 and 30 minutes. Stage 2 manifests as what witnesses describe as listening behavior. Affected individuals become unresponsive to external stimuli while maintaining their skyward gaze. They appear to be concentrating intently, as if receiving information or instructions. Family members report that subjects occasionally nod or smile during this phase, though they remain otherwise motionless. Stage 3 is the most concerning. Subjects begin to display what our behavioral analysts are calling responsive interaction. They may wave at the sky, mouth words silently, or position their bodies in specific orientations. Several subjects have been observed making hand gestures that don't correspond to any known sign language or cultural communication method. What happens after Stage 3 remains unclear, as most intervention attempts occur before subjects progress beyond this point. However, we have 17 documented cases where individuals were left unobserved for extended periods. In each case, subjects were found the following morning in locations they shouldn't have been able to reach on foot. More troubling, they report no memory of the previous evening's events. Based on these developments, I'm authorizing the implementation of enhanced safety protocols, effective immediately. First, avoid any outdoor activity between sunset and sunrise until further notice. If you must go outside during nighttime hours, do not look up at the sky for any reason. Keep your eyes focused on the ground or straight ahead. Second, if you notice a family member or neighbor standing outside at night, do not approach them directly. Instead, call your local emergency services and report the incident. Trained personnel are now equipped with specific procedures for safely intervening in these situations. Third, close all blinds, curtains, and shutters before sunset. Cover any skylights or windows that face upward. We've received reports that even indirect moonlight reflecting off surfaces may trigger the initial fascination response in some individuals. This morning, our facility received a direct communication from the International Space Station. Commander Rodriguez reported that both moons are visible from orbit, but she described something that our ground-based observations haven't detected. She said the second moon appears to be breathing, expanding and contracting in a slow, rhythmic pattern. More unsettling, she reported that crew members have been taking turns at the observation deck, even though protocol requires they remain focused on their scheduled tasks. Our communications with Mission Control at NASA have become intermittent. The last update we received indicated that 3 of the 6 crew members were spending increasing amounts of time at the observation deck, and their behavior was being described as concerning by ground control. At 7:30 this morning, we detected an electromagnetic anomaly originating from the lunar vicinity. Our radio telescopes picked up what can only be described as a low-frequency transmission. The signal doesn't match any known astronomical phenomenon, and it's definitely artificial in origin. Our cryptographers are analyzing the pattern, but initial assessment suggests it may be some form of communication protocol. More disturbing is what happened when Dr. Patterson, our lead communications specialist, listened to the raw audio feed of this transmission. Within minutes, he became unresponsive and began attempting to leave the facility. Security intervened, but during the brief struggle, he kept repeating the phrase, "They're calling us home." Dr. Patterson is currently under medical observation, and we've suspended all direct audio monitoring of the lunar transmissions. I want to be clear about something. 18 hours ago, I would have dismissed everything I'm telling you as impossible. I have a doctorate in astrophysics and 15 years of experience in space communications. Nothing in my training prepared me for what we're observing, but the evidence is undeniable, and the risk to public safety is real. We're coordinating with international space agencies, but communication has become increasingly difficult. Several major observation facilities have gone dark, including the Arecibo Successor Facility and the European Southern Observatory. The last transmission we received from the Atacama Large Millimeter Array contained only a single message. The moons are singing together now. Our own facility has not been immune to these effects. Since midnight, we've had to place 6 staff members on administrative leave due to what our medical team describes as lunar influence syndrome. These are trained professionals, people I've worked with for years, and they're displaying the same behavioral patterns we're seeing in the general population. The symptoms begin subtly. Affected individuals report feeling homesick without being able to identify what they're missing. They become distracted during conversations and frequently look toward windows or exits. Dr. Martinez from our psychological evaluation team noted that subjects consistently describe dreams of going home to a place they've never been but somehow remember. What's particularly troubling is that these symptoms are appearing even among personnel who have had no direct visual contact with the moons. Our facility is underground, with no external windows or sky access, yet the influence seems to be spreading through other means we don't yet understand. At 10:15 this morning, we received an emergency transmission from the mayor of Millbrook, a small town in upstate New York. According to his report, approximately 60% of the town's population spent the previous night standing in the town square, all facing upward, all perfectly silent. Local law enforcement was unable to disperse the crowd, as officers who approached too closely began to exhibit the same behavior. The mayor described the scene as like a church service for something that wasn't God. He reported that the gathered townspeople remained motionless until dawn, at which point they simply walked home as if nothing unusual had occurred. Most troubling, when questioned about the incident, the affected residents claim no memory of the events. Similar mass gathering events have been reported in over 30 locations worldwide. In each case, local authorities have been unable to effectively intervene without risking contamination of their own personnel. Given the scope and escalation of these incidents, I'm implementing Phase 2 containment protocols. All non-essential personnel are being evacuated from lunar observation facilities. Military installations with sky access are being sealed. Emergency services nationwide are being briefed on lunar influence recognition and intervention procedures. If you are currently experiencing any urge to go outside and look at the sky, I need you to resist that impulse immediately. Find an interior room with no windows. Stay there until sunrise. Contact emergency services, but do not leave that room under any circumstances. If you notice a neighbor or family member displaying signs of lunar influence, standing motionless outside, staring at the sky, unresponsive to their name, do not approach them directly. The influence appears to spread through proximity during active episodes. We are working around the clock to understand this phenomenon and develop effective countermeasures. Dr. Yamamura from our research division believes the electromagnetic transmissions may be some form of coordinate signal, possibly preparing for a more significant event. Our computer models suggest that whatever is happening will reach a critical threshold within the next 24 to 48 hours. I need to share something with you that may be difficult to accept. Based on our analysis of the transmission patterns and the behavioral responses we're observing, this may not be a natural astronomical event. The evidence suggests we are dealing with a deliberate, coordinated phenomenon of unknown origin. This broadcast is being transmitted on all emergency frequencies and will repeat every 4 hours. Stay indoors after sunset. Avoid looking at the night sky. Trust your emergency services, but be aware that some personnel may be compromised. We are not alone in this. Facilities worldwide are coordinating our response, and we will continue broadcasting updates as the situation develops. But I want you to understand the gravity of what we're facing. This is no longer a precautionary advisory. This is a clear and present threat to public safety. The moon woke up, and it's trying to wake us up, too. Don't let it. This is Dr. Brock Colby, NORAD Emergency Coordination Center. Stay safe, stay inside, and keep listening for updates.